Hello and welcome to the United Stand. All I would say to those people who were with us on the previous live stream is live, hey? And clicking the wrong buttons when you're trying to do something else. But this is the Manchester United versus Crystal Palace preview, and this will hopefully be the one that stays on the United Stand channel. Angel Gomes could well be making history on Sunday against Crystal Palace. Jose Mourinho has the opportunity to go down as the manager on his CV who plays the youngest player ever to play for Manchester United in the Premier League. He's not 17 years of age till the end of August, Angel Gomes, and he trained with the first team squad today. Now, he's only just recovered from an injury. He's only been back just over a week. So for him to play on Sunday would be stretching it. And like I say, at 16, it's highly unlikely. A lot of people are thinking, oh, you know, Mourinho is going to play 4 or 5 or 6 youth players on Sunday. And I don't know whether you've actually read what his comments were today, but he said, look, it's a fantastic experience for them, but they're not ready. Well, who's he talking about when he says they're not ready? Well, let me just show you something first of all. This is how I predict Manchester United will start the game on Sunday. Now, there are young players who are part of that squad. Joel Pereira, who I've got in goal. Kieran O'Hara, who is also a goalkeeper. Dimitri Mitchell, who can play more of a left-back. Then you've got Josh Harrop, Matty Willock, Scott McTominay, and obviously Angel Gomes, who are all sort of midfielders, attacking midfielders. Now, looking at my team, Pereira in goal, because we know that Mourinho has said that all along. We've also got Fosu Mensah, who he's indicated will play at right back, although many of you, I think, would agree I'd like to see Fosu Mensah and Swansea start swapping in that formation. Eric Bailly, if he's fit, will play because he can't play in the Europa League. Phil Jones obviously needs game time, and Daley Blind didn't play midweek, so probably will play. And then I think what he'll do is he'll bring Mitchell on in the second half and not put 90 minutes in Blind's legs. Swansea in the midfield, I think McTominay, because he's played against Arsenal and Spurs and had little cameos, I think that he will be the youth player that Mourinho trusts to play. He said, you can't play everybody, you should only really play one. I don't think you can count Pereira as the one, so I think McTominay will start and he will be the one youth player who really does start. Pogba we know is going to play, and then I'm into unknown territory really. Lingard, I'm hopefully putting on the right, because if he doesn't play on Sunday, that means he's playing on Wednesday, which I think is suicide against Ajax to play him. Martial on the left, because I want to see him playing, although it'd be fantastic if Martial doesn't start, because I think Martial is our best winger and he's our best hope of winning the game against Ajax, because they are poor down the flanks. And then Rashford up front, because I think Rashford needs a bit of game time. But bringing it back to yours truly, look, Rashford, Pogba, they really probably shouldn't be playing 90 minutes, although I think Pogba will, because they've got a massive game on Wednesday. So somebody like Daley Blind, I think, give him 60 minutes, bring Mitchell on. But the bad point is we've only got 3 substitutions to make. Now, Rooney's not in there because he said that I might rest Rooney, which concerns me on a couple of reasons, really. One, why are we resting Wayne Rooney? Because I think if you're worried about Lingard, I'd be terrified about Rooney playing in the Europa League final. He's just not good enough anymore. But also, I think we all want to see Rooney leaving in the summer with a good old pat on the back for United. Great. So it'd be nice to see him play. Last home game, I think he deserves it. And how poetic it would be if Rooney played, came off about 80 minutes, last 10 minutes, Angel Gomes comes on. I think Mourinho would be mad, absolutely mad, not to just give him 10 minutes and have that on his CV, because obviously come August, we'll be back into the Premier League, the games will matter again. If he can get him in before he's 17 and give him a few minutes and have that Premier League debut on his CV, it'd be fantastic. I mean, I've not really mentioned much about Angel Gomes, but he's a fantastic player, absolutely fantastic. Like I say, only 16 years of age, plays at number 10 position, he's got skill coming out of his ears, if that's ever a saying, but he scores a lot of goals as well. Very creative, very skillful, miles ahead of everybody else around his age. He's been playing at the year above for a long time, and England captain at under 16 level, and also he's just won the Jimmy Murphy Young Player of the Year award last night. If this lad, look, as I was saying on the previous live stream, I don't want to repeat, I have to repeat it because that one's not now going to be up, but we can't be over greedy. When you look at people like Mitchell and Harrop, McTominay, Willock, I don't think they are going to be Manchester United stars of the future. I don't. I think it's fantastic experience for them to be training with the first team, and I think it's great of Mourinho to do that. But these are not the names that are really tipped or expected to go on and have Manchester United careers. One or two of them, they could defy the odds and do it. But the reality is, when you look at the situation we've been in over the last 20 odd years since the class of 92, we've not really produced real quality or any consistency from our youth squad. When you look at it now, forgetting the likes of whoever has been training with the team today, even including Angel Gomes, we've got Rashford, Twansibi, Fosu Mensah and Andreas Pereira, all of which I truly believe can be first team players for Manchester United of the future. That is 4 from our youth setup. That is a huge amount as it is. You then add in Pereira, the goalkeeper, who I think can be definitely top class as well. That's 5. Angel Gomes, 6. Tahith Chong, it's unfortunate he's injured, 7. Once you get beyond 4, it's ridiculous. It's an amazing amount. So to expect the likes of Willock and everybody else to come through, it's probably just not going to happen. But it's great that they are part of the team, and it's great that Mourinho's doing that. So yes, very, very excited about the game against Crystal Palace on Sunday. I think the Southampton game on Wednesday was just a dead rubber, boring game where he was getting minutes into the legs of people who are competing for the final. But on Sunday, party atmosphere, last game of the season at Old Trafford, people potentially leaving like Rooney. That'll be interesting to watch. But some of these young lads as well, let's get excited. And obviously we're 3 days away from the Europa League final, which is absolutely massive. But like I say, I'll be amazed if he doesn't take the opportunity of just giving Angel Gomes 10 minutes, because why wouldn't you do that? Mourinho gets hit with this stick about not playing youth, and to do that and have it on his CV, like I say, would be absolutely massive. Phil Mitchell, just go. I mean, that is just ridiculous. See you, Phil. But the what else has he said? I took some notes for you. Mourinho's press conference was actually quite interesting today. Fellaini and Chris Smalling both have knocks. Some people would say, I hope both of them don't come back, but the expectation is that both of them will be back. Fellaini, look, if I was tossing up a coin, one of these players has got to play in the final, Lingard or Fellaini. For me, it would be Fellaini. I think Lingard is the biggest waste of time in the Manchester United side at the moment. Lightweight, not very fast, not very skillful. It's got to be Mata or Martial or Mkhitaryan. He cannot play in the final. It knocks us down to 10 men. Fellaini, I worry about him because of his lack of mobility. And to be honest, if he was injured, I've got to be honest, I would take that as a big positive, because he's going to play Carrick, Herrera or Pogba, or even better, Herrera, Pogba, Mata. And I think against Ajax, we'd blow them away with either of those two. I think with Fellaini in there, they'll be quite positive about that, because they can pass the ball around him quite easily. So that's quite interesting. Smalling would be my choice to play alongside Daley Blind at centre-back. He really would. But I think he's leaning towards Phil Jones, to be honest. He also said that Ajax don't deserve to be in the final because they were a Champions League team who dropped in because they came third in their group. Ajax are in the final. There are clubs in the Europa League that were in the Europa League with us that are as good as Ajax. But Ajax have done well to get to the final. They're there. I don't really understand where Mourinho's coming from with that, because he's just making a rod for his own back, really, if it backfires against us, and it could sort of get Ajax even more up for it if that's possible. So I don't really understand what his comment is about that. But he also said that everybody goes to the finals. Zlatan, Phil Jones might be on crutches, but Zlatan, Luke Shaw, Ashley Young and Rojo on crutches will go. Very dissimilar to what Van Gaal did at the FA Cup final last year, because he made all the injured players travel separately. Odd man. But 40 winners' trophies will be given out, and Mourinho wants everybody going together, which is great for camaraderie, so that's interesting. But just back on the youth, people are expecting 4 or 5 youth players to start on Sunday. It's not going to happen, and I totally back Mourinho on that, because Crystal Palace are going to come to Manchester United with probably one of their strongest teams and play football. And with the likes of Zaha coming back with a point to prove, people like Cabaye, Benteke, they're a decent Premier League side with a very good manager at getting results. If we played 4 or 5 kids and they got beat 5 or 6-0, then that scars them for the rest of their career. So Mourinho's right when he says great experience for them to be training with the first team, but they're not ready yet. He says, I'm in very close contact with Nicky Butt, who was obviously like the reserve team manager, and I watch all the home games that they play. One of them, with all the experienced players, is fine, but no more than that. So I think Joel Pereira will be sort of left out of that one equation because he's the goalkeeper. And obviously Rashford, Twansibi, Fosu Mensah, I don't think he considers them to be sort of, I can only play one of them because they've become first team members anyway. But I do expect one from, like I say, McTominay, Willock and Mitchell to play. And I think it'll be McTominay, like I say, I do, because he's had the most minutes coming on against Arsenal and Spurs. But I think some of them will come on as subs, depending on how the games goes. And I hope it will be Angel Gomes. But Mourinho is right. You can't just throw everybody into a game like that. And I think it'll be very, very interesting for us to watch the game and see how it goes. As I say, the Southampton game was boring, but I think the watch-along on Sunday is going to be very, very exciting. Last Premier League game of the season, how we're going to do in the game, and very excited about that game against Ajax at the weekend. But going back to that team, I cannot emphasise enough, because I know we're excited about Sunday and seeing what youth players are going to play, and I really am excited about that. But the flip side of the coin is, I think the exciting side of it as well, or the daunting side of it, is like who actually starts. We know Pogba's starting and we know Pogba will play on Wednesday, but realistically, I've been saying this for a few days now, first team players that are going to play on Wednesday, we don't want to play many of them on Sunday because it's only 3 days away. Why not do the Chelsea technique of playing one game a week and keeping everyone really up for it? I think Valencia could play. I've not got him on there, but Valencia has been very tired lately, so he might just keep him totally out. But Pogba, Rashford, you'd expect Rashford to have a few minutes, but then again he might think, do I really want to risk Rashford? But Lingard and Martial are the interesting ones for me. Obviously Rooney could play up front. I think his issue with Rooney is he's played like 2 games already in a week, hasn't he? He should be able to play, and he's not surely going to play him in the final, but will be very interesting. But Martial and Lingard are interesting because if one of those doesn't play, you'd expect them to be starting in the final. And I've just got this horrible feeling, as I said before, in your head, Mourinho openly should be saying, look, Mata and Martial are key against Ajax because they are weak down the flanks, and I should be picking them. But his inner self will be saying, shut up, I'm playing Lingard and Fellaini, which I think is it's suicidal, really. It really is. Dante Roa says he'll respect Big Sam if he comes and plays the kids. I don't think the Premier League would frown on that. I think if there was some sort of discussion between the two, the Premier League would probably fine us if we played a load of kids anyway. To be honest, and apparently we did. Mourinho was asked, why didn't you approach the Premier League about getting the game moved to a Saturday? And he said, why ask questions you already know the answer to? Jacob Nielsen saying more kids, Mark. Look, my 11 that I've just given you there is pure prediction. It's the hardest one I've ever had to do because I've got no clue. I've got no idea. You can normally get about 8 right. I have got no idea what our starting lineup will be. But United we are says Gomes to start. No chance. I think we'll be lucky to see him get on at all, but we'll be lucky to be on the bench. But I just feel that Mourinho will do it because it's a big up yours to everybody who says he doesn't use the youth to have it on his CV that he's played the youngest ever Manchester United Premier League player. And go for it, Jose. Do the up yours to everybody. I think it'd be great. It'd be fantastic for all us lot to see this lad of the future playing in a United first team. It'd be brilliant. And I really hope he takes that opportunity to do it. But he's already come out and said, to answer the question, that he's already come out and said that he will only be playing one youth player starting because it's too much of a step up and they're not ready for that. But I think what he's really saying is, out of all those young players that we've got, and it's O'Hara's a goalkeeper, Pereira who will start, Durnley, Gomez, Harrop, McTominay, Willock, all midfielders, and obviously Mitchell a defender. I think out of all those, Mitchell could make it, but I think the only ones that are going to make that are going to be Pereira, the goalkeeper, and Gomez, who probably won't be ready for a couple of years. So when he says they're not ready, but it's great experience, I think the reality is that people like Willock and McTominay and Harrop and Durnley are not going to be United players in the future. I hope they are. I'll be amazed if they were, because that we'll be getting on for 10 players then that are going to come through the youth team and play for the first team. I think they'll go on like many others and be, decent Championship, maybe mid-table Premier League players, but I can't see them being Manchester United players of the future, and I think that may be what Mourinho's sort of alluding to, because if you speak to people who are knowledgeable and watch the youth team a lot, they would say, look, there isn't really that those players, from what I've seen, are not going to be Manchester United first team players of the future. But you never know. Some youth players are, they're good, they're decent youth players, but they don't shine. But then they progress and develop better into, the first team football arena. So you never know. And someone like McTominay certainly looked, I know he came on for the last few minutes against Arsenal and Spurs, but he looked okay. And I think he will be the one who starts because he's had the most minutes. Rajat Roy wants to see Angel Gomes to have 40 to 50 minutes. Yeah. And Daniel Roberts says it's a meaningless game, Mark. He needs to play youth when it matters. I mean, what do you all think? What do you all think? Do you think he should be picking 4 or 5 youth players in this team? I don't. I think Mourinho's spot on, really. You know, I'm no youth expert. I don't watch every single game. I know probably more than most. But there are people who watch every game, go to games and everything like that. And, I respect those people. But from what I've seen, as I said back then, most of these players will not be Manchester United first team players of the future. It's nice because they're young players, but they won't be. They just won't be. They're not of that level. I think the goalkeeper will, out of the players that are part of the first team squad at the moment, who've been promoted to the youth team. I think the goalkeeper will in Pereira, and I think Angel Gomes will be as well. The others, I don't think they will be, and I think that's what Mourinho's sort of saying. I'm not playing 4 or 5 of these players in the first team because they're not ready, and they're probably never going to be ready. But I'll play 1 or 2 of them with my experienced team. Because I think if he played, imagine if he started a team on Sunday, with Willock, McTominay, Mitchell, and one of the other lads in there. I think we would get beat if Palace brought their team. We'd get beat maybe 3 or 4-0. And that's no good for anybody. So, and especially 3 days before a cup final. And Pogba would have to work really hard because he's going to be carrying these young lads. What Pogba needs around him is a couple of other experienced players as well. Because what Pogba needs on Sunday is not a game where he's running all over the place looking after kids. He needs a game where he can just focus on himself, go through the motions, maybe play at about 80% and just get some time in his legs after obviously the tragedy that's happened to his dad. That's why Pogba's playing on Sunday, just to get a bit of match sharpness. You don't want Pogba playing with 4 or 5 kids around him, having to take on that responsibility. And, it's like Roy Keane when he used to play with the class of 92 when they first started. As the leader, and Cantona as well, you go all that extra mile because you've got to help these young lads around you. So we don't want to see that happening, really. But George Simpson says we should 100% use 4 or 5 because this game does not matter and the fans understand that. Yeah, George, I agree with you on that. It doesn't matter. But what does matter, and Sir Alex Ferguson would back this up, he's said it before, if you play 4 or 5 of these youth kids and we get beat 4 or 5-0 at Old Trafford, we might not matter. No one's going to boo. They're going to get cheered off and clapped because, it doesn't matter to us. And, Manchester United are fantastic as fans as giving youth players that security and confidence. But as individual youth players, they might not get to play for Manchester United again. If they get beat 4 or 5-0 and psychologically it's not good. There's been so many studies done on it. You don't want to throw young kids into a game where they're going to get battered. It's not good for their development. So yeah, you've got to marry it up with selfishly what you want to see and actually what's best for them. And it's not best for them to go and play someone like Crystal Palace, 4 or 5 of them in a starting lineup. And Nathan Brown's just come up with a great comment. He says overloading the team with youth can be detrimental overall. Mark, why are you ignoring me, man? The game hit you hard, man. Why? Babdad, I don't know what you're on about, mate. Roshan Williams is injured. Danderman, I think otherwise he would be part of it. Same with Tahith Chong. He's a little bit older than Angel Gomes. Obviously, we signed him from Feyenoord last year. He's a fantastic talent as well. I think he would be training as well, but he's done his knee, so hopefully he'll be back next season. Connor Houghton says his mum is mates with Joel Harrop's mum. Ryan McGee says Mourinho wants to destroy Manchester United. Pereira scored again, says Kwame Deman. And what's happened to James Wilson, says Rajat Roy, injured as well. Callum Gribben, what happened to the hype? Well, Callum Gribben's been playing. I don't know why he's not getting promoted, to be honest. Tesla says he lives near to the stadium in Stockholm and he's got some news. Please feel free to share it. Breach69 would love to see Gomes play, but for about 30 minutes. And David says only Rashford, Gomes, Twansibi, Timothy Fosu-Mensah and Chong have a future. Well, to be honest, David, if that 5 have got a future at Manchester United, it's 5 more than we've had in recent years. You think about the last 20 years. Kieran Richardson, Danny Welbeck, John O'Shea, Darren Fletcher. I might have missed 1 or 2, but that's over the last 20 years. We've currently got 4, 5, maybe 6 players coming through in the space of 2 years. So we can't be greedy, and I'll be ecstatic if we get 5. If we get 5. And to be honest, Rashford will, Gomes will, Twansibi can, Fosu-Mensah can, and Chong can as well. I'd add Pereira in there. Both Pereiras, the goalkeeper and Andreas, they can as well. So that's 7. James Wilson's injured. Janusaj and Pereira. Janusaj, get rid of him. I think it's a shame Big Sam didn't get to keep the England job, says Paul Lucas. Mark Can I call you from Stockholm, says Tesla. Not at the moment. Thanks, David. I'm just reading some of your comments. Fosu Mensah, is he back fit, Madman? Well, obviously I've put him in my team. And apparently, Mourinho said a few days ago that he was going to play. He was fighting to get fit for the Europa League. In all fairness, was he ever going to be playing in the Europa League final? I think it would have been amazing, even if he'd been fit, if he'd made the bench. So I think he'll play on Sunday. And Mourinho has sort of hinted that he'll play at right back. I mean, I'd swap him with Twansibi in that formation, but apparently so. What's with the suit, Mark? Oh, yeah. Well, what's with the show being late? We did start a show at 8:30. It all went a bit wrong when I was trying to sort something out, so that's now dead. So I've had to do it again. But I've been at work today. Been at work, so I've just took my tie off and been busy doing things. Which reminds me, I played Mad Marcus at FIFA tonight on my channel, Mark Goldbridge. After you finished here, just type Mark Goldbridge in and go and watch it because it was absolutely fantastic. Especially the second game. You'll probably never see a better goal on FIFA from my own half. But very entertaining, very entertaining. Rooney, will it be Rooney's last game? Will it be Rooney's last game at Old Trafford? You know what? It has to be, doesn't it? It's nothing. It has to be his last game. He's on the decline. He's been a Manchester United great, but he's a hindrance to our starting 11 now. He hasn't got another season in him. He needs to go. He needs to leave Manchester United. So for that reason, I want to see him playing on Sunday because he deserves a proper send-off. And as we were saying before, if he plays for 80 minutes and then Angel Gomes come on, it'd be poetic. It'd be absolutely poetic. From a lad who started at Everton when he was 16 and went on to have a fantastic career at Manchester United, to end his career at Manchester United by handing it over to a 16-year-old who can go on and have that sort of career would be absolutely brilliant. So I'd really like to see that happen. Paul Lucas, I'm really impressed with Twansibi as well. I agree. Brendan, yes, Callum Gribben is a very, very good young player, but he doesn't really seem to getting on. Abdul, there will be a show tomorrow. It'll be a transfer show tomorrow. Probably, I normally do it live at about 10 or 11. I'll have a think. But do go and watch the Mark Goldbridge channel. The FIFA thing is very, very funny. Roshan Williams, definitely. Yeah, Gungshi, you're right. I mean, I don't want to forget Roshan Williams. If you think Twansibi's good, him and Roshan are very, they're not similar, but they are mentioned in the same sentence quite a lot. So yeah, he is a potential another one as well. We are spoiled. We are really spoiled, and we should be really excited. Nathan Brown says he'd love to see Fosu playing in the midfield. Yeah, I would as well, but apparently he's going to play it right back. And Angel Gomes makes me feel old. Yeah, 16, so he's born in 2000, wasn't he? No. Yes, he was, because he's 17 this year. Manchester United and videos. Mark, do you go to Old Trafford often? Well, I was at the Chelsea game not long ago, but what do I think of Zaha, Kaylin Hamid? He's a good Premier League winger, but I don't think he was ultimately good enough for Manchester United, and I'm not one of those who regrets getting rid of him. I think he deserved more chance when you look at someone. I mean, to be fair to Zaha, he's better than Lingard. So, that's hypocritical of me to say I don't think he was good enough for United and it was right to sell him because he's better than Lingard. But yeah, I don't think Lingard's a United player either. What's your prediction for Ajax, says Pacey Azaz? Well, we'll talk about the Ajax game once we get Palace out of the way. My prediction for the Palace game is that both teams will score. And I'm going for 3-2 to United because I think that would be great for us. I know a lot of these players won't play in the final, but if we as a team and a club can have a positive performance on Sunday, an entertaining attacking performance, because I think that's how we beat Ajax. I'll give you a little hint. The way to beat Ajax is not to park the bus. The way to beat Ajax is to attack their weak defence, especially their flanks. That's why Martial must start, because he's our best winger, and he will terrify them. Pereira has scored for Granada, says Nats Reloaded. Yep, we're aware of that. I am well dressed tonight because I just haven't got changed. Next few years could be very exciting with these youth players nearly ready to come through, says Gungshi. I agree with that. We've got to get Champions League football, haven't we? We've got to get Champions League football. Joshi agrees with me that Zaha is better than Lingard. Rude Knight the Master says we've got no chance of getting 3 goals. I mean, look, I'll put it up again because a few people are asking. if I get 5 of those right, I'll be absolutely happy on the watch along when the team news comes out on Sunday, because I just don't know. It's the hardest one I've ever done, and in many ways it's the most exciting one, because I really want to see some of that fringe and youth. But I tell you what, our Premier League season's been rubbish this year. We can all agree with that. We're hoping for a miracle that Borough beat Liverpool so they don't get top 4. That's not going to happen. So it's going to be a horrible Premier League season for us. But if we could end it, that last few minutes, with Rooney coming off for Gomes, I think we'll leave the Premier League season with a big smile on our face. And then let's finish the season off with a smile and get in the Champions League. It's everything about that. Bab Dad says everyone Mark is a fraud. Bab Dad says he is a school teacher. Bab Dad, you are blocked, so you're gonna have to do another. You're gonna have to make up another shitty name to come and spam us with. But you're very late to the party, pal. It's trying to say that we're not a fan channel when we are the only ones who do twice a week Skype Goldbridge, where you Skype in. We're the only ones who have the live comments up on there. Everybody's welcome on this channel. And as for calling me a fraud, you're 2 days too late, mate. I've already done the video, and I think everyone's bored of all that. So cheerio until you invent a new name that you come and spam our live comments with. Paul Lucas is on about Lingard needs to focus on his game rather than dancing. Joe Riley, Jose Mourinho, she's saying he's a good player, but he's currently on loan. Oshan Hughes says Angel Gomes is such an exciting prospect, which he is. And how can anything go wrong where there is no expectation? Palace versus United. Our future is exciting, fast-paced football. We can't ruin them, says Kaylan Hamid. Manchester United has the best fans, says Rajit. Degree Fuzo says, if we don't win the Europa League, will you jump off the balcony with me, Mark? Look, it's going to be horrible if we don't win it, but we've just got to believe that we can. You know, deal with the disaster when the disaster's happened, but we've got to believe that we can do it. Mohamed Cade, do you fear for Andreas Pereira's future under Mourinho? I do, because I've been a big fan of his for a long time, and I really believe that he's good enough. I really do. In fact, I believe he's so good that if we had a choice between James Rodriguez and Pereira, I would choose Pereira. I mean, he's not there yet, but I think he can be. I do. Thanks everybody for watching. Sorry if you were part of the one an hour ago. Bloody disaster tonight. I don't know what that's all about, but yeah. And for some reason we got a load of dislikes on the start of this video. So if you are watching, there's over 800 of you. Just back the channel, please, and just whack a like on the video. I don't know what the dislikes are all about. It's been a really stressful night tonight, having to do this twice. You know, it's the way it is. It's live, isn't it? Things can go wrong, and it was partly my fault. But thanks for everybody who, if you have come back and watched it again. It's been a bit weird repeating the first 10 minutes, but it was repeated back in a way. But please do support the channel and drop a like, especially because it's a preview. The preview always suffers for likes anyway. I will be back tomorrow morning with the transfer show. I've got a brilliant player I've been wanting to talk about for a long time, but I've kept it back for a Saturday. We were talking about wingers last night, weren't we, on Skype Goldbridge, and how wingers are dead, and Man United need wingers and pacey wingers. This lad I'm going to talk about tomorrow cost a bit of money. Perfect. He's exactly what we need. So we'll talk about him tomorrow. Yeah, please do drop a like on the video, as Lorcan said. Thank you, Gunshi. What else was I going to say? Watch along on Sunday. Obviously, kickoff's 3, so we'll be live from 2. Very excited about that. I'm glad you've enjoyed it, Disease Gaming, because it hasn't felt that great from me tonight because I've done it twice. I don't feel as comfortable as I normally do, but maybe that's because I've done it twice. But thanks for all your support. And oh God, what? I tell you what, why we are getting dislikes today, because people are calling me fraud Mark. Don't watch the show, folks. If you're one of those people, just don't watch it. I've done the video about that. Person on the internet isn't using their real name. Shock, horror. People are trying to disrupt this channel because it's doing really well, and you are this channel. You, the live comments, you, the live viewers, you, the people who are watching this show. You are the channel. They're trying to disrupt it. They'll keep trying to do it. They'll attack me. They'll attack Drawty. They'll attack Ross. They'll attack Alex. They'll find any angle they can do. But I can categorically tell you, they have nothing. They have no angle on us. So let's stick together. Let's keep this channel growing. And don't worry, the people who come on here and cause abuse, as Beck and Marcus and our new moderators will find out, they'll just be kicked off. That's the way it goes. But thanks for all your support. Thanks for the channel. I'm exhausted. I really am. But I'll speak to you all tomorrow with a transfer show. And thanks for everybody who supports it. And actually, thank you. I won't. It's been a very stressful week. I just, it's just ridiculous. I'll always answer any questions that people want to put to me. And like I said, on Thursday night, I was embarrassed having to do that video, but it was breaking on Twitter in the afternoon. And I'm an honest person, so I came live and did a video. I didn't go and hide for 2 weeks because I tried to rip fans off. I didn't go and hide for a week because I was faking on Twitter, pretending to be an agent, mugging Manchester United fans off. And wishing serious illness on my family like this other lad was. So, loads going on. But I'll answer to you. I answer to you, not to anybody else. And I need a nap. I do need a nap. Shari, contribution. Thanks, pal. Yeah, appreciate that. Oh, finally, that's the thing I forgot to mention that was on the last video. This is really important. Okay, there's a lot of YouTube football channels now that if you might watch some of them, they're sponsored by betting companies. It flashes up in the front, sponsored by whoever. Now, I think that, we've done a few promotions because we obviously get paid to do that. And then that helps us do things like that. On Wednesday, for the Europa League final, we are giving away two new Manchester United away kits. And we'll be doing that at half-time for the Europa League final. And that sort of income helps us to do that sort of thing. We don't want to be sponsored by a betting company. What we want to do is be sponsored or having a partnership with a charity. Now, obviously, one of my best friends died of cancer about last November. A month later, my gran died of cancer. So we're thinking Macmillan, but what we'll do is any super chats that we get from now on, so Shuri's there, 10% of it will go to that charity. But we want your opinion on it. What charities do you think? We think, cancer, I think, is the one that me and sort of Drawty would be happy with, but, you might have a few yourself. So if you've got any ideas, let us know. But we will, we're not, that's the way we want to go. We are a fan channel, and I think some promotions we do are good for the channel if it benefits the viewer. But to be out and out sponsored by a commercial company, no. I think we are a fan channel. We try and drill that through, and I think a charity link up where we can give money away and do something good, I think that would be good. But give us your thoughts on that. Thanks everyone for watching. I have rambled on. I'm going to get some rest. I'll be back tomorrow. Can't wait for the watch along on Sunday. It's going to be a massive week for United, and I'll be back tomorrow with a transfer show. I feel so drained. I feel absolutely drained. Thanks everyone for watching.